Let's bring in Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk, of course, the former NFL quarterback. How do you explain that, Chris?
Well, wait, first off, I mean, you left me some good candy there. All right. I mean, who are you going to vote for in the Heisman?
I'm not
I'd like
allowed
to know
to.
that.
I'm not allowed to say it. They don't want us to
Okay.
say it publicly, or I would tell you privately, but I'm not allowed to say it publicly.
All right, cool. I understand that. You can text me later.
Who would you vote for?
I
Trevor?
would vote for Trevor Lawrence. I would. He's the best player in college football for my money. I don't, again, it's unforeseen circumstances, COVID-19, all of that. That shouldn't hinder him as far as, what the vote or what the award really stands for. So I would go with Trevor.
If you were Trevor, would you rather go to the Jets or the Jags?
Oh, the Jaguars probably have a little bit more in place as far as talent on the offensive side of the ball and even some young talent on the defensive side of the ball. That to me is going to be more of the decision of, do you want to live in the big lights of New York or do you want to be kind of under the radar in Jacksonville? What suits like the style of life you want to live too? So, ultimately, I think probably at this point right now, the Jags are set up a little bit better team-wise than the Jets, who have a lot of holes to fill.
But you also look at Eli Manning, doesn't seem like the New York kind of guy. Your father, who played for the Giants, is not a New York kind of guy.
Right.
Joe Namath, those days are long gone. Namath loved, the bright lights and Broadway Joe, but Sam Darnold is not a bright lights New York City kind of guy either. I think I know the pressure, the expectation level would be so high if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jets. It feels like he would get a little bit more of a easing in period in Jacksonville.
I would agree. I mean, you come, like you're talking about, you come up to New York, the spotlight's on you immediately. And then, of course, it's going to be added on to that is the fact that, whoa, they got rid of a top 3 quarterback pick to take on Trevor Lawrence. So how does that guy do on his new team? And that's going to add to the spotlight and just the overall, attention around the whole scenario. But to your point with like my dad, Eli Manning, Sam Darnold, even, I think Trevor Lawrence has that too, where, yeah, they're not like it's even keel. Let's throw a touchdown, throw an interception. You're not really sure which one they did. It's the same look on their face either way. And I think there is something to that in the New York City area as far as balancing your life and all the fans and all the attention around you at all times.
Yeah, it feels like the expectation level is going to be so high because the Jets are so thirsty. The Jags almost went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. The
Right.
Jets, they get to watch the Super Bowl. But I also wondered about this yesterday. We got over the shock of the Jets beating the Rams. If I'm the Rams, what did I expose yesterday that's going to come back and haunt me? Or is this just a one-off that the Jets caught him at the right time? But are there bigger issues with the Rams as we look past this Jets upset?
I think I said this to you 2 weeks ago when I was on a Monday, where to me, there's one big issue with the Rams football team. And it's really about the only issue because they're really well-rounded in just about every area. But there it was again, Dan. Just go back and look at the Rams schedule. Any game their offense struggles, it's lack of run game, and then the bootleg passes aren't there. And just quite honestly, the drop back pass game as far as scheme, and then Jared Goff in the drop back pass game and his ability to do things that way, pocket passer, being a, surgical that way and making plays off schedule. This is not the strength of the Rams. So they got themselves in a hole and then they couldn't run the ball and the bootlegs were gone. And it just all kind of funneled out of control from there.
Is there a Super Bowl contender in the NFC West?
Yes, I do believe that the Seahawks to me are a Super Bowl contender. There's no doubt. The Seahawks have played better defense the last 5 or 6 weeks. Really, ever since they left Josh Allen and that loss up in Buffalo, they've been better. I think you see their run game has shown inklings of popping up here. And in a year with no great defenses in football, this is why I took Seattle versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl anyways, because of the no offseason. I thought the defenses would be handicapped. I just think playoff football is going to lend itself to the great quarterbacks kind of taking over in the big moments with no crowd noise and all of that, with no great defenses. And it's just going to favor those kind of guys. So, yes, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are contender.
Were you a Josh Allen guy? prior to the draft? I
Big-
didn't think you were.
I was. He was my number one quarterback that year. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Big Josh Allen. I kind of Lamar is number one, and Josh Allen is two in my first rankings. And honestly, Dan, I made a deal with myself. I backed off of Lamar number one because I got so much crap from my NFL friends. Man, Lamar number one, are you crazy? I thought there was maybe something I didn't know, that maybe, there was some character issues or something, but that I got so trashed. I honestly backed off Lamar a little bit and ultimately made Josh Allen my number one guy. But yes, I was a huge Josh Allen fan.
If I said I got to take out Mahomes from the equation, quarterbacks under the age of 27 that you would take over Josh Allen.
Oh, man. To me that, and I'm just, off the top of my head, I'm just going, only guy I'm thinking about really is him and Deshaun Watson. Those are those guys I think that are young, right? That fit that mold, what you're talking about. It's one of those two. I mean, to me, right now, Rodgers, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, I know in totality of their careers, they're better than Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson. But, man, for 2020 football right now, week 15, I don't think you could say anybody's played better than Josh Allen this year except for Rodgers and Mahomes. And you see, like you saw Saturday night, he can carry the team at certain moments. Doesn't matter what has to be done. And I remind people, that was the same Denver defense that wouldn't let the Chiefs in the end zone 5 different times. And Josh Allen got in the end zone. So he at least deserves to be in that conversation. I'm not saying he's there yet, but he's in that combo.
We're talking to Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host with Mike Florio and, of course, the former NFL quarterback. Let's look at the Saints quarterbacking situation, short-term, long-term here. What do you think?
Well, they got to go with Drew Brees now. I mean, he obviously was not at 100% yesterday. He didn't look comfortable. I mean, you watched it. Did he look comfortable at any point during that game? Looked jumpy in the pocket, right? Didn't look like real decisive with decisions. There was a lot of like, should I throw it there? Should I throw it? And he didn't know what to do with it. So they caught him on a rusty day, of course, not hitting on all cylinders, but he's still the guy going forward, no doubt. I just hope they find the right balance of still letting Taysom Hill be a factor there, because without Drew Brees' ability to really throw the ball down the field, I think they need that Taysom Hill run game package to just give them one other element to make defenses defend the whole field when you play the Saints. I think they just can't lose sight of that.
You look at Kansas City. They do keep teams in games, whether it's somebody really good like the Saints or, can be some of these other teams here. But they seem to have an answer for everything. That's just it. It's the person who makes straight A's, but you go, how do they make straight A's? Because you're watching their study habits and you go, I don't know. Now, they do it differently here.
You're right.
How dangerous? I mean, what's the flaw there?
I mean, the flaw is that they're just going to play with fire here one of these days, and the wrong bounce of the ball, or and just it's going to come down to that one play, and they're not going to come through in the clutch, and you're going to go, man, they lost to a team that they're better than, and they didn't close the game out, or they just were asleep at the wheel because they were unmotivated. That's the concern. But also, yesterday, I think it also, again, shows their versatility, too. That's what's amazing. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play defense. And, we're going to stop the run and make Drew Brees beat us throwing the football. This average Chiefs defense, yet when you ask them to do something, stop Derrick Henry in the AFC Championship game, slow down the Shanahan run game in the Super Bowl, they always rise to the occasion. So they're frustrating. I'm with you. And I don't think we've seen them play an A game the whole year. I think they played a lot of B and B plus games, and they still win. And that's where I'm annoyed by them. I'll say this, though. Their offense needs to be the one that closes these games out. That's where they're built, and that's the unit that needs to put some of these teams away as of late, and we just haven't seen them do that.
You sold on Baker Mayfield now?
I am. I think like the last 3-4 weeks, the way he's playing, I think he's finally just comfortable in the Stefanski offense, what's being expected of him. And Dan, there's a language between quarterback and play caller. That, I actually heard even, Bruce Arians talking about this with Tom Brady yesterday. They're speaking to you with some of their play calls more than just, hey, this is the play call. But really where an offense and an offensive coordinator get on the same page is, oh, wait, he's calling this play on second down because we talked about this 10 days ago. He's expecting me to look for the big shot play here. And if I don't have it, throw it away. It's all those little nuances, I think, that they're finally getting together. And that's why you're seeing Baker just confident and playing awesome.
And I see young quarterbacks do this, and you played the position that I got to throw the ball away. Like, it's hard. Your mentality is never, let me just throw it away. Your mentality is to make a play. It must be difficult for some of these younger quarterbacks to go, gosh, I gotta just fall down, or I got to throw it away.
Right. Or throw the check down, right? They're not used to that. And I think that's where, we got to give Baker a lot of credit. Think about it. He was at Oklahoma. It was throw it everywhere. And then he got with Hugh Jackson and it was like, hey, awesome. Let's throw it more. You're the first pick of the draft. And then last year they got Odell Beckham Jr. and they went, hey, let's throw it every play. Let's keep doing that. And then all of a sudden this year they were like, hey, whoa, we want you to hand the ball off and play smart and control the football. So that is an adjustment for a guy like that. And he's done really great in handling that. And they've matured off the field too. I think that's another aspect you see with Cleveland that Stefanski's really brought to the team.
I'll leave you with this. I have 3 quarterbacks in their first 48 career starts. 3 current quarterbacks. In their first 48 starts, these 3 quarterbacks went 28-20. The exact same record. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers was 28-20. Deshaun Watson, 28-20. Mitchell Trubisky, 28-20.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome. It's awesome. I'm happy for Mitchell Trubisky. That's a misleading stat. I'll say that much. Because 2 of those guys were doing a lot of it on their own.
Do you think he's happy that you're happy for him, Chris?
I probably not. He's probably like, oh, I've heard that guy say negative things about me before. Screw him too. But I think that's the edge in which he's playing with. Like I heard Matt Nagy in the post-game press conference that he's a different man. Well, sometimes when you get benched and you sit over there and you go, man, I was making the game too complicated. And then also when you get back in, you just go, I'm taking no prisoners. Screw everybody, screw the coach, screw all this. I'm going to be a leader and not think too much and do all of that. And they found their way here. The best 3 offensive games of the whole season, the last 3 weeks. Good for the Bears. And if you made me choose, I bet you they beat the Cardinals and end up in the 7th seed over the Cardinals. Yes, that would be my choice.
Whoa, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
Hey, happy holidays to you and the family. Thank you again for all the times you've joined us here on the program. We always appreciate your insights, and thanks for joining us, bud.
No, thanks to you. Thanks to all the guys. Happy holidays to you. I appreciate you having me on.
That's Chris Sims,
buddy.
Pro Football Talk, and also you can see him on Football Night in America.